Disclaimer, this episode may or may not cause feelings to be hurt. That is not our intentions. Our intentions are to make people feel heard and seen and be a voice for those who are scared or can't. This is a podcast of self-reflection and shadow work. Sometimes it's ugly and hard, but that is a part of a growth journey of any kind. These episodes are based on things that have happened to me, your host, Cody, and the guests or people I have had these conversations with about this journey. Hey besties, welcome back to Laughing Through It. This one's gonna hurt, so grab some tissues, sit down, and bear with me, because I'm gonna hold your hand while I say this. A couple days ago, I saw this TikTok where this woman said, "Wear your weight," and it royally pissed me off. Like, genuinely made my blood boil. So of course, I made a TikTok talking about how angry it made me and how maybe some opinions should just stay in the drafts. But after I posted it, I went and talked to my uncles about it, and honestly, they opened my eyes more than I expected them to. Not in a "you're wrong" kind of way, but in a way that forced me to really sit with why it upset me so much in the first place. After that conversation, I came back and deleted the TikTok post. I just sat alone with my thoughts and really started unpacking everything they said, everything we talked about, and why it hit me the way it did. And as for the conversation, you're probably wondering about it. Well, today I actually have one of my uncles here with me to help me deliver this message and just be that grounding support while I talk through it. Don't worry, I've got my tissues too. So before we get into all of that, I just want to say this episode isn't about being right or wrong. It's not about debating strangers on the internet. It's about what happens when something online actually follows you offline and forces you to sit with yourself in a way you didn't expect. Anyways, my uncle has agreed to sit with me, talk with me, and just help ground this whole conversation as we go through it. Everyone say hey to my number one supporter, Rickey Mecham.
What up?
Alright, besties, now that you know who is here with me, let's get into what actually happened. So for the past couple weeks, I've been struggling with my insecurities, and seeing that TikTok just pissed me off. Not because I agreed with her, but because there's already so much hate in this world, and body shaming shouldn't stay in the past. Now, what I'm about to say next might hit a lot of people. It might even make you want to stop listening, and honestly, it's the same reaction I had when I first heard it from my uncles. But I need you to hear me out, because it did open my eyes. For a long time, I thought body positivity meant you were supposed to constantly feel good about your body no matter what. And I still think loving your body is important. Like, that is the goal. But what I realized through that conversation is that for me personally, I was using body positivity as a way to avoid sitting with the parts of myself I didn't like or didn't want to work on. It became more about surviving, how I felt, instead of actually growing through it. And what really stuck with me is this idea that confidence and self-acceptance can't just be words you say. They have to be something you build and live out. Not by hating yourself, not by tearing others down, but by being honest with yourself about where you are and where you want to go. People are always going to have opinions. Always. About your body, your choices, everything. But the real shift for me was realizing I don't want my life to revolve around reacting to that anymore. I want to focus more on confidence, not performative confidence, not forced positivity, but something real, something steady, something that isn't constantly shaken by what people online say. And I think that's what my uncles were really trying to get me to see. During that conversation, I definitely was trying to shut down, and I had to force myself not to. That was hard. That was probably the hardest thing I ever done.
Well, and through the conversation, I mean, you could literally tell the shift in your facial expressions of what we were talking about. You know, and it's like I was telling you, it is a touchy subject. And by no means am I trying to hurt anybody's feelings whatsoever, because there's so much controversy behind it, right? And depending on what you believe, it's hard to believe something different. Right.
It is.
It is super hard to believe something different. Like, if you are gung-ho about it, like, it is hard to change your mind about something. And that doesn't go just for you. That goes for a lot of people, right? So, through the conversation, do you actually want to, like, get into the conversation?
Yeah, let's unpack this.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to start with your questions? And then, like, give them the background of where it came from? Or?
What was this, like a couple days ago? A couple nights ago?
Yeah.
Sunday? Saturday?
Yeah.
It was either Saturday or Sunday. But they were watching Gold Rush, I think. Yeah. And I came out into...
Great show. God. It is.
And I came out into the living room after watching this video. And I was pissed. I was fuming.
You were.
My body... Yeah, I was
going, and all of a sudden you couldn't be quiet anymore.
No,
You're
I
like,
sat
okay.
I sat down on the couch and I was like scrolling through my phone and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And so I did. I said, hey, I have a question. And they turned off they paused the TV at first and they were like, okay, shoot. And it took me a while to word the question because I didn't know exactly what I wanted or how I wanted to word it.
You didn't come out of the question. You said, this is the problem. Like, I saw this TikTok, this lady said this, and this pissed me off, and I did a TikTok about it, and
I was mad.
I'm
mad.
like, hold on. Let's talk about this for a second. So just to be real and understand what you're saying, you're mad at someone that has never been in your life ever before. And their opinion absolutely does not do anything for your everyday life. But you are super up in your feelings, girl. Like, so bad you are shaking. There are fumes coming out your ears. Like, I'm like, okay, so what is this about? Because your podcast just the other day ago, we were talking about competence, right? I said, so let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Let's talk about it. What's the tea? What's the dough? You know, and what did you tell me?
That she was saying wear your weight, and to me that just didn't sit right because she was talking about that jean shorts should not be on bigger people and that she used to be fat. She was 130 pounds.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna put this in here right now. 130 pounds is not big to me because I'm bigger than that. But 130 pounds might be the biggest somebody has ever been.
Exactly.
So I understand that wholeheartedly.
Right, and that's something
I'm not saying that because she's 130 pounds, that to her she wasn't fat.
Right.
I'm saying, to me, 130 pounds is not big. That's healthy.
Right, but I also had to bring that to your attention, though. I said everybody has different standards of that word.
You did, because I was so mad that I could not see past the fact that I was mad. Mm-hmm. And I was solely focused on the fact that in her comment section, it was mainly just bigger people defending themselves and telling her to heal.
Right.
And not...
Well, and that's something I asked you, because you said that, and you said, you know, you should seen the comment section, Uncle, because there were so many bigger people that were on that comment section. I said, hold, please. I said, you just answered your question. And you're like, what? And I said, why do you think that it is only bigger people that are going off about this literally hashtag, this belief, this movement, this trend, body positivity? Why do you think it's only bigger people that are going after that on that comment feed? I said, there's your proof right there of why only a specific demographic believes that. So then we got into an even deeper conversation that opened a whole nother spiral, and you were like, what the? You know, yeah, you know what I mean? So we talked about it. We talked about how it started in the 19th century, that body positivity wasn't always a thing. And even as early as last night, we were talking about it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I said, think about it, babe. I said, my entire life, I've been told beauty is pain. Beauty is pain. Beauty is pain. I said, and now you think about what I used to tell you whenever I had you, when you were younger. I used to tell you, beauty is pain. Beauty is pain. Beauty is pain. I said, and now, in a world where, you know, it's cool to go against the grain, so to speak, or I'm going to do whatever I want to do, people have created a comfort zone. People have created a trend. People have created something, a mask, if you will, that makes them feel better about what they're doing in their everyday life.
Yeah.
And part of self-reflection is removing, and part of, shadow work is removing all those masks and really defining on the inside why and what it is that makes you tick. Like, what is it? What are those bombs that you really didn't know you were secretly hiding?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what this was. It was one of those bombs you were secretly hiding, but because this journey that you're on, this confidence versus, you know, body positivity, since that's what we're talking about today, it's an eye-opener. Because if you already have confidence, you don't need to hide behind those trends. Right. You don't need to hide behind those masks, right? And literally, we even did the research on it because, you know, we were curious about the 19th century. I thought it started, in the modeling industry. Right, with Tyra Banks, whenever she was doing the America's Next Top Model, and she was pushing for healthier girls and men, to run down the walkway with clothes that that they could wear but didn't wear them, right? And so and it was one woman changed it internationally. In my eyes, that's where I thought it came from, but upon further research between you and I, we found out that it even started in the 1960s. So it was the 19th century. It was created. It wasn't always that way.
Right.
And so that kind of backed up what you and me and your uncle were saying, is that it wasn't always this way. It just wasn't. And we're not trying to be mean, but we're in a journey right now that the truth is what the truth is.
Yeah.
So help me God, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the truth is ugly. The truth is raw. The truth is real. And whenever you have people in your corner that are like, "Oh, body positivity, let's go eat a whole pizza today," how does that make sense?
You're right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're positive about your body and you're literally screaming that to everybody else, why are you not being positive to your body by eating an entire pizza? You know what I'm saying? So it's choices, and we already talked about this too. I don't want you to be on a diet. I don't think anybody needs to be on a diet. I think
that word doesn't exist in our vocabulary.
It does not exist in our vocabulary. And I also told you this too. I said, you're beautiful no matter what. And that's the part of having confidence. I said, whether you want to get smaller, whether you end up getting bigger, whether you want to stay the same size you are. I said, part of the confidence is that you're seeking for is truly loving yourself and saying, you know what, this is me. This is me, and I love everything about me, and if you don't love it, guess what? You don't got to, but somebody will.
Amen.
Okay.
Yeah, period. And that whole conversation really did open my eyes, because I did sit with it. I sat with it by myself when I went to bed, and I sat with it Sunday, and I sat with it yesterday, and I sat with it this morning. And I don't necessarily think that I sat with it because I was pissed off at the conversation, because I wasn't. I sat with it because it genuinely opened my eyes. You can be positive about your body.
For sure.
But you cannot have positivity about your body without confidence.
Right. And we also said, words are just words.
Yeah.
Right? It's the actions.
Actions speak louder than words.
The words.
Yeah.
Right? They speak louder than the words. So, and through having confidence, those actions are literally going to show up that the words don't even need to speak any longer.
Right.
Right? So whenever someone's out there preaching body positivity, I even took it a little bit further with you, and I was like, girl, as a gay man that is married to another man, I said, I'm going to tell you this right now. I said, it's not any different than the trend of transgenderism, right? It's not. It's something that someone believes. It's a bus for other people to jump on, and it's something that they are trying to push for everyone else to accept, right? It's not any different than several other things across the board. The only reason why I use that analogy is because I am a gay man and I'm married to another man, and the trans thing is super hot right now, right? Like it's super all over the place. That I don't necessarily agree with. Like that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But
whole another topic for a different conversation.
But you know what I'm saying is back to the point is it's a trend. It's a bus for someone to get on and ride and say, look at me. And if you truly are confident in yourself, you don't gotta jump on that bus. You don't gotta ride it out with everybody else.
Because you walk in a room.
Because you walk in a room.
And you own it as soon as you walk in.
Exactly. Clock that T, baby. And that's exactly what I'm trying to teach you. And that's exactly what your Uncle Ray was trying to teach you. But, I mean, even he was telling you, you know, he has problems with his weight. And he's always been on the super small side scale.
Yeah, he's a little...
Right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, so it doesn't matter if you're unhappy about your weight, be it be too much, be it too little...
Yes.
Whether you're going up and down constantly, you know, a lot of people, battle with this journey, right? And that's why I say we don't diet. You know what I mean? Because that restricts your life. What we do is we limit our portions and we continue eating what we do want to eat, but we do it in a healthy way.
And we ask ourselves, am I hungry or am I bored?
There you go. Exactly. You know, and that's part of shadow work, and that's the whole part of this journey, is trying to figure out what ticks, what don't tick, why do you do the things that you do, you know, where did it come from, how did it start, and is it something that I need to change about myself, or is it something that I'm going to embrace?
Okay, we're back.
Okay, welcome back. Back again. Cody's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Oh, just kidding.
Period. All right. So, we were definitely talking about confidence and insecurities, and that body positivity is a fad. But you can be positive about your body along with confidence.
Absolutely.
And you are probably one of the most confident people I've ever known my whole life. And even as a confident person, you also have insecurities.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing, is like, you know, confidence is something that, you know, it can be considered as a mask too, and there's a fine line, and we talked about this too, that being between, you know, confidence and being conceited, right? There's a super fine line there. And, you know, it is kind of difficult to talk about, but you're right. I mean, overall, I pretty much am very confident in what I do. I know what I can bring to the table. I know what I can't bring to the table, but you're 100% correct about insecurities. Because even last night, whenever we were all talking as a family, you know, I was like, in the middle of conversation, everybody was talking about something, and I was like, okay. So, fun fact, so this is something that I'm insecure about, and whenever we talk about this really makes me internalize my feelings, right? And okay, it wasn't a TikTok post, right? And I didn't come out shaking my leg, and I didn't come fuming and da-da-da-da-da-da, right? Because communication is important to me, and communication should be important to a lot of people. Like, you should be able to communicate your feelings outward, and not be able to hold them and only keep them for yourself inwardly. Like, they need to come out. They need to come out. And you should have some kind of support system. Hopefully, everybody has this, but if you don't, but you know what I mean? But luckily, you and I do have a support system. And so, you know, I felt safe enough at that time to be like, okay, so this, what we're talking about is kind of...
This specific conversation raises up insecurities in me.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
He started off, he goes, I'm going to take a chapter out of your book, and he pointed towards me. Because I am beyond grateful for my support system, and I told you this last night, for you and Ray, to give me that openness where I do have that support to come and talk to y'all about things that are bothering me. And I am beyond grateful. I could not thank y'all enough. There is nothing in this world where I'm like, I don't have support in any decision that I make.
For sure.
Have I felt that way before? Absolutely, 100%. And I feel like everybody's felt that way.
Yeah.
And for me, a lot of my friends don't have the support that I have, and seeing that hurts.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that hurts. And one thing about this podcast is I'm here to be somebody else's support if they don't have that.
There you go.
To let them know that they're not alone in anything that they are doing.
Yeah.
If you want somebody to be proud of you, I'm proud of you. Go follow your dreams.
Right.
If you need somebody to help you get your ass out of bed, girl, let's go take a shower.
Okay.
Let's let it just hit us. We don't even have to clean our bodies, and then let's go on with our day.
Right.
We don't necessarily have to get all dolled up, but let's put some normal clothes on and stop lounging in our PJs.
There you go.
Like, depression, anxiety, ADHD, all of it can genuinely affect any journey you're a part of.
100%.
And for me, insecurities are just problems, and problems always have solutions. And anxiety is a big part of my insecurities. When I start getting anxious, that's when I start doubting myself. That's when my insecurities come out the most. And I have used it as an excuse before. I have, to cover up the fact that I don't like myself that day, or how I feel and what I'm wearing.
I mean, I'm guilty of that. I can honestly say that too. And part of me having ADHD as well. I mean, there's some days that I'm good at really being on that routine. And then there's some days that, not so much. I need to change it up, and I can't do what I've been doing. And next thing you know, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Or I'm half-assed doing this, and I'm doing 900 things and nothing's getting completed that day.
Yeah, and it's baffling to me. Not baffling, that's not the right word. It genuinely shocked me when I realized that my anxiety and my ADHD connect to my insecurities, because one thing I grew up with that y'all made sure that I knew was that you're your biggest critic. Mm-hmm. Not people out there. Their opinions don't matter.
Right.
You are your biggest critic. You are going to be harder on yourself than anyone else around you.
Yeah. But to touch on that really quick, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, yes, the society is cruel, like, and they're gonna talk. Whether you like it or not, they're gonna talk.
Oh, talk, baby.
Right.
Bring my name up at your table.
But my point is that even though we say words shouldn't matter,
they do.
If it's an abundance of the words and it's coming from different directions, dude, it really starts to weigh on you.
It hurts.
Like, it's like, fuck, man, is this like for real? Is this how the world sees me?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And then you gotta sit there and think about it.
Yeah.
And I've been bigger for most of my life, at least as far as I can remember. There are pictures where I am skinnier, but I've been bigger for most of my life. And a lot of people have always seen me as the funny friend or the fat friend.
Yeah.
And I became accustomed, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, to that. So, like, I made that pretty much my personality up until high school. And then that's where that fine line between conceit and confidence came in. And I was stepping over that line, on that line, and maybe 3 steps back that line.
I mean, you definitely had to fancy that, that line a little bit. But,
I liked dancing on it. Tap dancing became my favorite hobby on that line.
Okay.
And I had to learn that lesson. And that lesson is still something to this day that I struggle with. Because there'll be things that I say that I'm like, ooh, that makes me sound so conceited. And that's not my intentions.
Right.
And I have to take a step back and reword it.
Right.
And then you get to insecurities. You have family or friends or just random people making backhanded compliments. Sorry, guys, my dogs decided they were going to be crazy. Making, like, backhanded compliments or anything like that. Cowboy, stop. Stop. And for me, the thought process really started back all the way in Easter when we were at a family function and my brother came and one of our family members said something towards his weight. It wasn't even towards me.
Yeah.
But it was towards somebody I care about dearly.
Right.
And he laughed it off. I didn't say anything, but I couldn't laugh it off.
Right.
Because I've been there. I've been on the backhand of that. I've been where somebody was like, oh, well, you're not going to get another plate. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Like, are you not hungry?
Well,
are you starving yourself?
Yeah, I heard that person because I was also at that same family gathering, and that person said, what, you're not going to use the whole pan as your plate?
Yeah.
Like, it's uncalled for. It's unnecessary. There is no class behind statements like that. I don't care what size you are of a person. Ew.
Yeah.
Just ew. And right after that happened, I literally said, okay, it's time for us to go. Had that been my house and that person said that, oh, Chili, you best believe that situation would have been a whole nother scenario, hunty. Okay, best believe that. Okay, but because it was not our house and it was a family gathering, I was like, what I can control is us leaving, right? I can't control those people.
No.
I can't control those words, right? I can't control their thoughts. I can't control their actions. But what I can control is getting to people that I love the most and that are most dearest to me away from that type of behavior.
Yeah.
Because they don't deserve that.
No.
They're so much better than that.
And nobody deserves that.
Right.
Nobody deserves to be treated less than just because of, one, how they look, whether they're a different skin tone or they're bigger or anything like that.
Yeah.
Everybody came from the same creator. Everybody bleeds red.
Yep.
We are one. And I don't understand the amount of hate that is in this world. I have never understood the amount of hate. And it's frustrating.
It is very frustrating.
It's aggravating, and I know that's something that I need to work on because I can't let the world get to me And that's something that I've been trying to work on since high school, actually,
Right.
because I used to get bullied a lot. Because of my last name, mainly because of my last name.
Honey, I had the same last name, and I was a guy. Oh yeah, and I'm
you're gay.
Oh yeah, there's that part. So honey, I get it. I was bullied a lot too, but that's what I'm saying. Like through hard times, you're able to find a light, and it is very important to do shadow work to where you can find that light. And that's where your growth is going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what journey you're on. It doesn't matter if it's weight. It doesn't matter if it's religion. It doesn't matter if it's an addiction. It doesn't matter if it's finances. It doesn't matter across the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every journey, although title-wise it's different, it's all the same.
And all tied together.
It's all tied together. And it's just like you said, there was one creator. We are all from one. We are all of one. And the amount of hate in this world is disgusting.
It is.
It is.
It's Anyways, let's jump back to season 1 where I said that your body is a machine. If you stopped taking care of your car, would it still run the way you need it to? No, it wouldn't. So if you wouldn't do that to your car, why would you do that to your body?
Clock it.
Like,
why would you?
Why would you? Why would you do that? You need your car, especially in Texas.
Oh my God, you can't go anywhere in Texas without a car. That's ridiculous.
Like, if you walk everywhere in Texas, girl, I'd be skidding.
Okay. You gotta live, like, straight downtown in a condo above some shops.
Yeah.
If you don't have a car up in Texas, okay.
Again, I am not saying that being a bigger person is a problem at all. I am saying that confidence and being body positive are great, and you can't have one without the other. But the fad, body positivity, is where us as a society have just made it socially okay for the plus size community to just be that. It hasn't helped the bigger people. If anything, for me, it's made me feel more isolated. For me to only be allowed to be in that community, it makes me feel like I'm never going to be good enough to go anywhere else. We became even more divided. Take shopping, for example. Go back 40 years. Plus-size clothing looked like parachutes. Nothing was cute, and it always made people look bigger than what they were. Jump to now. We have cuter clothes, but less places to shop. There are plus-size sections, but now more and more stores are getting rid of them again. The fad, body positivity, has not helped the plus-size community in any way. They separated stores. For me, that just feels like we are more separated than accepted. And that I hate to say that because I genuinely love some of the stores that I shop at.
Yeah.
I love them. They're probably my favorite stores I've ever been at. They have really cute clothing. My closet used to be full of them, and then I moved 8 times. But I shouldn't have to be, I should be able to go into Walmart, for example, and buy clothes and not have to sit there and have a 24 and a 26 not fit.
Right.
When I'm a 22 wide.
I mean, so I totally get that, but even my size, right? It depends on where I go and shop, whether the waistband is going to fit me the appropriate way or not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes.
And it all depends on fabric too. I'm not saying it's just the stores. It all depends on the fabric of the. I almost said company. That is not the words of the clothing.
Yeah.
And we even went shopping at a thrift store, and I found some of my favorite pairs of jeans.
Yeah.
That were 22s.
Yeah.
And I love those shorts more than anything.
For sure, and they look really cute.
They're so cute. I love them.
Yeah, no, I love them. No, I totally get what you're saying, and because you're right. Back in my day, I'm 41 this year. So back in my day, bigger people would only have horizontal stripes on their shirts,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know that horizontal lines make a person look round.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter what size you are, you're gonna look round if you're wearing horizontal lines. You know what I mean? So whoever decided that design needed to be a thing should be shot, in my opinion. Let's be real. But aside from that, you're right. I think it's kind of wrong. And I never knew, because my journey itself, I don't allow myself to go past 199.
Mm-hmm.
You and I have talked about this. That's my own personal vendetta against myself. That's my own fear for myself. That is a legit fear. Because of the fact, medically speaking, the more weight that you have to carry on, the harder your body has to work to do what it needs to do, right? And
Yeah. That goes back to it being a machine.
Right, exactly. So, it's the... So it freaks me out because I don't want to overextend my body. So that's my journey.
Yeah.
But for example, Ray's sturdy. He's 120 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's itty bitty, and he's always been tiny, but he's always been made fun of for being tiny. And he's always been like, you need more steak, or you need to eat a burger, or...
He literally said that people used to come up to him and put their hands on his waist and tell him that he's small.
Yeah, he did.
First off,
Girl,
don't fucking touch me.
Right.
Unless you want to get decked, and I'll show you how tiny these bones hurt, okay?
Girl.
Secondly, why do we have the urge to go up to random people and touch them?
I mean, that part. Like, stay in your lane, stay in your bubble.
But if you're bigger, people try to avoid you, and they tell you that you're taking up most of the space.
Right.
Not to mention, amusement parks are difficult.
Oh my God, we talked about this.
We did talk about this the other day.
My mind over this.
We were talking about Six Flags because I love Six Flags.
Yeah.
And I want to go, and I want to go this summer so badly.
Yeah.
Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have to go at least once.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we have to get season passes, but we have to go at least once.
I mean, it's cheaper. You might as well get season passes.
But, I mean, yes, and I will use them. But we're talking about it, and outside of some rides, you have the little simulations where you can sit in it and make sure it clicks and stuff like that. And I've always been good at sucking in a lot so it can click. Was I comfortable? Meh, more or less. Like, I was or I wasn't. It just kind of depended on the day and what I was wearing.
Yeah.
But some people don't have that ability to be able to suck in as much as I used to and still be able to fit into things. And so a lot of people you see at amusement parks, they don't ride the rides.
Okay.
Because they can't fit in them.
Well, see, that's so crazy. You blew my mind because I thought those things were for kids and how tall you are. I never took into consideration or even thought that was a thing, that weight was a factor. Never knew it. All 41 years of my life. You blew my mind the other day ago whenever you told me.
We were talking about it, and he did. He Googled me right.
Yeah, I did.
Like,
I was like,
I'm used to being Googled wrong, and he Googled me right, guys.
I was like, wait, what?
And I was like, yeah.
CJ got told he was too tall for a ride at Disney World.
Well, if it's too tall,
height-wise, I can see that because you can get your head hit, and that's a liability.
Or your legs could maybe chopped off.
Yeah.
And the other. So that's what I thought it was all about, was the height.
And that might have a factor in it too. Yeah. I've just always known it to be for size because I've been bigger.
Yeah.
And I am back to 345 pounds.
Whoop-de-whoop.
And on the first of every month, I am weighing myself. And I'm trying to mainly focus on the fact that it's not the scale wins, it's the small ones.
Oh yeah, we talked about that for sure.
Because if I focus solely on the scale wins, I will not.
Yeah, you're not a number.
Yeah, no.
You're not.
No.
Nope, we're not doing that.
I'm a 10 out of 10, and that's all I need to be.
Okay, clock that, baby. Clock it, baby. That's right. We're not a number. We don't push the number game around here. No.
No.
Like, we're not going to obsess over the well.
When I got back to being 349, because I did gain 4 pounds in a month. When I got back to being 349, I even came out and told you, and I didn't beat myself up about it. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I gotta get back in a gear.
And I asked you, okay, so how do we feel about that? Well, actually, the wording, because we both woke up right after you told me that. I was like, wait,
He was like, huh? So you're 17 pounds, you gained 17 pounds? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
No.
And you're like, how's that mathing? And I was like, okay,
math isn't
over.
mathing. Mind you, he only took like 3 sips of coffee at this point.
3 sips of coffee, and the words just were not computing, and I was like, okay, start over. Erase. And
I was like, I gained 4 pounds from the 345 that I was.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's fine. I said, you'll take a poop and it'll be gone.
He was like, you're good. And then he goes, how do you feel about it? And I was like, well, I'm not going to beat myself up about it because 4 pounds is 4 pounds.
Yeah.
And then I sat there and I was like, I just got to get back into gear because I was in a boot for literally 2 days and then I stopped.
Well, and I feel like that had a lot to do with it, right? You were in a boot, you know, were like, shit. I can't really go do my walks. I can't, because there for a while, I mean, you were on it. Like, you were doing your walks, you had your water and your lemons, and you were doing the mostest with the smoothies, and, with all the things. I mean, you were doing your squats, you were lifting the weights, you were doing extra lunges and sits, all the things, right? And then you hurt your foot.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, you can't be doing the mostest with the hurt foot, girl. Right?
Yeah.
So, but that's where I told you. I said, you got to give yourself grace. You need grace. You have to be nice to yourself. You have to love yourself through every single journey. No matter what, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
I said, okay, so 4 pounds, big dough. And like I said,
poop it
you're
off.
Gonna take a poop, and then those 4 pounds are gonna be gone.
Poop it off.
Right? I said, but keep it up. I said, you see the problem. You recognize the problem. That's half the battle.
Yeah.
I said, and the other part of the battle is you doing something different.
Yeah.
If you want to continue down this journey. But by no means did I be like, blah, 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 blah.
How dare you gain 4 pounds?
Right,
You
know what I mean?
fucked up your whole thing.
Yeah, no. We're not doing that.
No, and
But, don't you think you're going the wrong way?
Yeah, none of that.
yeah,
None of that
it's definitely, again, it's definitely refreshing to have people in your corner that validate you, that make you feel seen and heard, and I couldn't be more thankful than what I am for everybody in this house. Like, at all. Because I love you too. I can literally, like, be like, okay, I want a snack, and it'll be 10 o'clock, and I'll eat a snack, and nobody's gonna be like, why are you doing that? Like, you'll ask me, hey, was that really necessary? And I'll be like, probably not, but I really wanted it.
Yeah.
So I ate it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a cheat day. I'm not, like, diet's not a thing.
Right.
We eat what we want.
We eat what we want.
Is timing the best? No. But I'm also not gorging on snacks anymore.
That's the part. We eat what we want, but we do it in moderation.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's the part. Like, you're not gonna hurt yourself. You're not gonna to not love yourself through this journey. I'm not gonna allow that to happen.
No, because
right?
as soon as I start hating myself,
Yeah.
somebody better switch something.
And that's what I told you. I said,
Smack me into next
I'm
week.
gonna mind fuck your words a little bit. And you're like, wait, what? And I said, we're not gonna use the word diet. Okay, we're not gonna do that. And you were like,
yeah, because I did. When I first started this journey, I was like, ugh, I gotta go on a diet. And he looked at me like I just, like, offended him.
I said, we're not doing that. I said, a diet restricts you, right? A diet is ugly. A diet is something that you have to stick to. It's another rule. I said, and you know what? In this life, there are enough rules. Enough rules. Why are you trying to give yourself another rule? To what? Discipline yourself some more?
For real.
Honey, there's enough people already trying to do that to you. So, what we are going to do, though, is we're going to love ourselves. We're going to be confident in ourselves. We're going to believe in ourselves, and we're going to trust ourselves. And if this is something that we want for ourselves, then we're going to tell our support system, this is what I want for myself. I need y'all's support. I don't need y'all to degrade me through this process. I need you to support me through this process.
I need you to be like, hey, you got this.
Yeah.
And talk to me, because a lot of this it's a lot of life as I get older. I'm not, like, super old. I'm only 22. But as I get older, I have realized a lot of life is mindfuck. You just got to switch your perspective on things.
Exactly.
And I've always been the positive friend. And I'm okay with that. I like bringing people up. I hate bringing people down.
Right.
Can I do it? Yes.
100%.
I don't like...
Back me up in that corner, baby. Let's
yeah,
roll.
like, I don't like doing it.
Yes.
But if you push me far enough, the mean girl's going to come out.
100%.
Not even going to lie.
Yeah.
And even your positive friends, they struggle. And I used to not tell people that.
Yeah.
I lost my mom at a very young age, and I tried to pretend that I was okay, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't until this last December that I finally came to the terms with the fact that I'm depressed.
Yeah.
And I love my medicine for that because it helps a lot.
Yeah, it does. It definitely puts things in perspective. And two, I mean, I was also part of that journey, whenever you were talking about it. And I said, honey, it doesn't mean that you're giving up. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you at all. I said because literally I think the percentage statistics is somewhere in the 90%. I don't know the exact percentage, but of Americans are also on anxiety depression medication. Okay,
Yeah.
so you want to jump on a fad, honey? Welcome to America. We're all crazy.
We all got the mental illnesses. And so I started this podcast in season 1 saying that it was a body positivity and weight loss journey. And I'm switching it now because body positivity journey isn't what I want. I want to strictly be on a self-love journey.
Yeah. Well, and that's what confidence is, right? You don't need to hide behind a hashtag. You don't need to hide behind a mask.
Hashtag be you.
Right? That's what confidence is be you, love yourself, but also check yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's part of shadow
One of my
work.
favorite things that I grew up saying to a lot of people was check yourself before you wreck yourself.
There you go. You know what I mean? And that's real.
And I even used this in high school a lot. Was this girl used to come at me and bully me, and I looked at her straight up. I was tired of being bullied by her, and I didn't want to use my fist. Would it have fixed my problem? Absolutely.
I mean, you know.
But I didn't want to use my fist because I was a teacher's pet. And I looked at her and I went, how about you go look in the mirror? Go look in the mirror before you come at me.
Right.
Because at least I'm a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
And that shut her up real quick.
Exactly.
And from that day forward, I was like, oh, I can use my words against haters and bullies. And a lot of people go through bullying. A lot of people go through bullying. And I will never understand how somebody can project themselves on somebody so much just to make their life miserable.
Oh, and it's so crazy too because usually people that have been bullied are usually then in turn the person that does the bullying. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's super awkward to me. That's one of those light bulbs that go off in your head the older that you get. Like, okay, so you used to claim that people used to do this to you, so now look at you now.
You're doing it to other people. Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Yeah.
Right? If you were the victim, now why are you the actually person that is doing it?
Yeah.
Like, you know how it feels, so is that another mask to protect yourself from the
100.
hurt?
And I, that was a rabbit hole that I've been down quite a few times because, rabbit holes are fun at 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if you know that.
Know?
But that was a rabbit hole I went through, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it was somewhere in the 90s, like 90 percentile, that most victims of bullying become the bully. And for me, that will never make sense because I've been bullied.
Right.
To me, that's kind of like cheating. Like, if you've been cheated on, why would you put somebody else in that situation?
You know how that feels.
If you know how that feels, why would you do it to somebody else? And so I guess that's part of the reason why I've always stayed like positive and like bringing people up. And even in episode 1, my friend Lori even said that my positivity is radiating.
It is.
And I pride myself in that. I love being positive. I have social anxiety, but it makes me social because of my positivity.
Right.
And that's one thing that I love so much. And we have gotten off topic, but that's me.
Oh, yeah.
I love my ADHD.
Sorry, my bad. I'm probably
So
contributed to that.
with all the fads and all the labels, it's like bumper stickers on cars. Have you ever seen the cars that have like a lot of bumper stickers? You can't tell what any of them say. That's what these fads and labels this society makes me feel. I don't want to be defined or labeled as someone who only cares about body positivity because I'm a bigger person. I want to be me. My bumper sticker says, just in case you missed that number, it was KODI.
Clock it.
Because being me and being confident in me and being positive about my body is all that really matters. If this episode hits you in the right or wrong places, be sure to hit that follow button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment. And go check out Rickey Mecham on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, TikTok.
It's on, I don't know, they just
YouTube.
notify me all the things. Any kind of music, they just tell me I'm on Deezer now, so I
don't know what that is.
I don't even know what that is, so, but yeah, clock it, go out and check me out.
SoundCloud.
Yeah, and Suno.
All the things.
They're everywhere, even on TikTok, so.
All the things.
But yeah, Crucify Anxiety is the album, there's, I think, 9 or 10 songs on there, and a couple of singles as well, so.
And Crucifying Anxiety is probably one of my favorite songs, especially for this specific topic.
Yeah.
Because everybody struggles with it.
Man, everybody, you're so real.
and listening to it, because I did listen to it yesterday on the way home from work.
Yeah.
I'm your number one supporter too.
Oh, I love it.
And so I was listening to that on the way home from work, and it hit hard.
Yeah.
Like it always does, but it hit hard.
It does. Crucifying anxiety. I mean, sometimes, like I said, we have to take it all back to the original creator. You know,
Amen.
The original creator. He was the only person that was perfect. The only person. He was a living, walking, breathing man of this earth that created miracles that nobody can even imagine.
Yeah.
Right. So, he's the one. He's the creator, and we are all the same. It's just like you said. We all bleed the same.
We all bleed red.
Stop the hate.
You can be purple, you can be a unicorn, you can be green, you can be
polka dotted yellow face. I don't care. Just stop being hateful.
like the hate needs to stop.
For real. It's
Jen,
for.
Z, we have to come together and stop this. Like, I'm not saying we gotta go like be crazy stupid, but I'm saying our parents' generation was the why generation. Why did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're the I'm gonna do this my way anyways.
And you don't have to agree with your neighbor to be a neighbor.
Yeah, and you don't have to agree with your neighbor to be a neighbor.
That's right. I mean, you gotta love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor, yes. But you don't have to agree with them.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you on the next episode, and no matter what, we're gonna keep laughing through it.